whole group's going to be back together, fighting the fight.
It is a great group of people. I've been on enough shows and been around enough television sets to know that there's almost always somebody, at least one person in the cast that everybody kind of rolls their eyes about and goes, and maybe with love, maybe without. There's nobody like that on this show. It really is an extraordinary group, and the thing that shocked me about Liz is that I expected her, just having seen her work, to be very grim and very serious and one of those very kind of, hi, how are you, never cracking a smile on the set people. And she's like this on the set all the time. In the grimmest scene, and in the malaria scenes and stuff like that, she's cracking on. And then, right up to, scene 3, take 4. And then she goes to this place of Rachelness. I don't know how she does it. Actors' processes are all different. But Liz, more than almost anyone I know, stays upbeat and bubbly and silly. And then as soon as that clapper hits and they say action, goes to this place of, Rachel, who is outwardly so serious almost all the time, but within that energetic range, she has 8 kajillion colors. And I love working with her. She's a really great acting partner.
I've been hearing there's so much happening in these final 4 episodes. What can you tease about what's in store for you?
Well, there's a lot of pure survival going on because the Patriots are really amping up they're really pulling out all the stops. And so for Gene, it's very elemental. One is that he's tired, and he's the oldest one, and there's a part of him that's just done. I mean, how much can you get up and run away and kill, and how do you? And so he has his own internal battle going on too, because there's a part of him that just can't do it anymore. And one of the things that's, I think, interesting about the last couple of episodes is the ways in which the different characters kind of challenge each other to find a way to keep going. And Rachel's very instrumental in that. We had a scene that I don't want to say I enjoyed it when it was over. Very, very tough emotional scene between us, in which she basically says, "Look, you're the one who's been telling me to have faith, and now I'm telling you that you have to. You can't give up." That's the essence of it. But it's when we were shooting it, Liz, as she does often, she'll throw from take to take. She'll do something very different from what she did before, or just a little different. She always keeps it fresh, and in the middle of this take, in which the script said something like, "Dad, I'm telling you," but she said, "Daddy." She called me Daddy, and she knows I have a grown daughter, and I think she just knew, as a daughter herself, that would get me, and it did. It was just, and that's a kind of generosity in a way that not all actors have. She knew it would affect her to say it that way. So simple, difference between dad and daddy, what's the big deal? But daddy, you're all women, is much more vulnerable, and it just hit me between the eyes or in the heart, whatever. And it's the kind of thing Liz does when she knows the scene is difficult and she knows that you're trying to dig down deep anyway, and she just surprises you with a little thing like that, which can make all the difference. I mean, I love her as an acting partner because she's always so emotionally available. The whole cast is. There's no slouches in this cast. But you know, playing father and daughter is particularly, it's an interesting bond. And then with everything that happened with you know, the reveal that Gene had been working for the Patriots, and the fact that Rachel almost killed him, and you know, early on in the season, she was willing to put a bomb down a chimney that would have killed him. It just turned out he wasn't there. So there's a lot of stuff between them, and but the last couple of episodes have some really. I don't think of the show as an action show, and yet it is at heart. And there's a terrific sequence that takes place on a train that, when I saw it on the script, I thought, you've got to be joking. On a train? You're going to take all of this stuff and then put it on a moving train? Do you know how hard that is to shoot? I mean, it's like to shoot anything on a moving train is to say, let's make it 50 times more difficult than would be if that train isn't moving. Because matching and, you know, getting back and just getting the camera in place, they created this. Our grip team created a 70-foot crane that actually, the end of which was 2 railroad cars down from where we were shooting most of the time. And it took 2 big guys. They had these 2 huge handles on it. These 2 big, they're like bodybuilder grips. They were like hanging on this thing and moving it and because on the other end, 70 feet away, is the camera, moving up and moving down, depending on what they did, and moving around and like over to the windows and coming up over the top and seeing Miles and Charlie shoot it out with Patriots. It's so cool. When people ask me what it's like doing the show, I say, among other things, the 8-year-old in me that always just wanted to play cowboys and Indians is like in heaven. Because, you know, here we are on a train taking the shotgun that has real charges in it, going boom, 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 you know. And it's just that 8-year-old part of us that I think for most guys anyway is part of what made us want to become an actor. It's so much fun to play in your friend's house when you're 8 and you think, I get to do this for a living. There's a lot of very, very complicated, cool. It's the combination of action with the interior fight that's going on within every character it's really cool. I mean, I think it's going to be really interesting. And then they won't let me say anything more about what's actually going on. But I think I'm looking forward to it. That's one of the things that I love, is I look forward to watching this show. And I've been on shows where I didn't care that much, you know, but I'm into it. When I got hired, I thought I'd watch the last few shows of season 1 that I wasn't on. And I did watch the last few, and then I went back and watched them all from the beginning. And I got into it totally like a fan. So when I went to the set the first day to work, I had just, you know, watched 22 hours of the show, and it's like, oh my God, you're Liz Mitchell. Billy Burke. I mean, I was like a fan. So it took a while to break that down because I was so excited to meet everybody, and that's cool.
Now we got to move on to the.
All right.
So sorry. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Nice talking to you.